Hello and welcome back, everybody, for our post-Game 1 discussion for Proving Grounds, brought to you by Verizon. Cloud9 Academy coming out the gate swinging right here, Joshi. I mean, this, based on seeding, is kind of going along with expectation. But we had some hope in TSM based on what they showed us in the play-ins, but Cloud9, they were not pulling their punches.
No, not at all. But I do want to give a little bit of shout out to TSM's instinct, right? We said one of the youngest players here coming in for TSM, and he looked pretty decent that game, right? He was able to find some opportunities to be aggressive on the king and getting both the summoners by himself. Unfortunately, the rest of the map just kind of crumbled around him, and as a AD carry, you don't have a whole lot of agency in those situations.
Unfortunately not, and Jolly, as we saw the game play out, TSM had a few small moments, small windows where they were looking for their own plays, but once the game got away from them, they just could not find a way back into it.
It was really rough, and you know, we talked about the fact that there was a nice Nautilus pickup to go along with the Jinx in the early on, and then running, you know, the Akali as the final pick is kind of where things stuttered, at least in the win conditions that we were looking at for TSM. It's a little more accessible. If you have more frontline, if you have more of that initiation as opposed to the ability to maybe make some sneaky plays like we saw, it might have worked out well. But the initiation from C9 Academy was, again, 110%, and they didn't hold back.
And the thing about that Akali pick in particular is that it was a counter pick at the very last second. They had the Graves locked in, which has been going into the top lane a lot more recently. And then Tryndamere counter pick, like Joshi had been pointing out from Darshan. This was Viper trying to like show what he was willing to play into the Tryndamere. Got a solo kill. We'll give him the one. But overall, things did not go too well in that lane for TSM either. And that's where they find a lot of their wins. So with Game 1 in the books here, we'll see if Cloud9 Academy can speed run a 2-0 or if TSM will bounce back. But while we're waiting for the players to get ready for pick and ban of Game number 2, we're going to spend our time playing a little game show that I like to call Pixel Perfect. Now, Jolly, this is your first time on the show playing this one, so I'll explain to you as well as all the viewers what the rules are for Pixel Perfect. I've been taking screenshots throughout that game that tell the story of the game in so many words. There's a couple that are pretty easy to tell. Those are the 16-bit category, as we can pull up a graphic to explain that as well. Then there's a couple screenshots that are a little more blurry, a little more pixelated in the 8-bit category. And then the 1-bit category, it's pretty much impossible to tell what's going on the screen, so best of luck. And I made those ones even harder because the feedback is the 1-bit have been way too easy so far.
Ooh.
So, Joshi, I know that you've played this one before, so I'm going to give Jolly the advantage right now as the play-by-play to test which caster has better memory of what happened in that game. Jolly, you can pick any category. Do you want a 16-bit, 8-bit, or 1-bit category to start off your first selection?
You know what? I feel like I should start 16.
Okay.
You know, we'll start easy.
Finally,
right? We'll start easy.
This is the first time anybody's picked a 16-bit to start the game. Everyone always just wants to go straight into hard mode. So
We're here to win, Kangas.
yeah, you're here to win, but you also got to warm up into it, you know? All right, so in the 16-bit category, these are the easier ones. In this image that you're seeing on your screen, Jolly, what is the context of what is going on in the game?
Oh, goodness.
I know. Pick me.
Nah. Hold on. Give me a second here.
All right, you will have a time limit, but go for it.
Okay,
what do you think?
That's fun. I am seeing a Hecarim. I am seeing maybe a Tryndamere. This is, but it looks like it's towards the bottom side. So I'm going to say it is a gank on to, goodness. I'm going to say it's a gank on, oh my goodness, on the Kaidua. I'm going to say it's a gank at the bottom on the Kaidua.
Gank on the Kaidua. All right, so we're thinking the gank onto the TSM mid laner on the bottom side of the map. Survey says that is incorrect. Joshi, you have a chance to steal. What do you think the context is of this image here?
This is the one time where TSM tried to do something really aggressive on the map. They bring the Realm War from Kaidua down bottom lane, and Hecarim levels up in the middle of this fight to get the onslaught of shadows off multiple people. And this is right before Copy is about to chase down multiple members, and Malice will eventually overextend off of this play. But this is them trying to dive the bottom lane. Malice is there and completely puts a stop to all of it.
Let's see. That was a very descriptive answer.
Wow.
I love it. Let's see what Survey says. Ding, ding, ding. That is absolutely correct, Joshi. Congratulations. You got it right. This is the full screen image. This was the one time TSM Academy were really trying to make a big play on their own, like you had said. And the fact that Cloud9 were able to turn that, I mean, TSM never really had an opportunity to come back from those moments, and maybe it's just a lack of information of knowing, hey, there was a lot of members from Cloud9 on the bottom half of the map to
Alice
try
is
and
here.
answer that one.
Yeah.
It's rough, but you're up next, Joshi. Do you want to go
All
for
right,
another
we're going-
16-bit, 8-bit, or
No,
1-bit?
we're going for the throat, Kingus. We're going
See-
for the 1-bit.
Jolly, this is
Give
what
it to
everybody
me.
does. Everybody always does this. They go straight for the 1-bit category. So I'm making this tough for you, Joshi.
Let's go.
On this image that you're about to see on your screen, if you can possibly tell,
What
what
is
is the
this?
context of this 1-bit image?
Okay. That's a tower.
Great. Fantastic.
I don't even know where I am on the map. I think this is bottom lane. My guess is, because I legitimately don't even know what's happening on screen, is
That's a lot.
this is probably
5.
this is right
4.
before Instinct
Oh.
tries to get the AD carry's flash. This is when he tries to get the flash and heal out of King.
Tries to get the flash and heal. Let's see. Survey says that is not
Damn.
correct. No, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even remembering the moment that you're trying to remember. Jolly, do you have any idea, any guess what was going on in this instance?
I mean, I can guess. It's not like a good one at that, but I'm gonna throw something out there. I feel like it's a mid lane. I'm gonna say it's an onslaught of shadows. You know, to go under the tower.
Yup.
I mean, onto, I guess, Kaidua.
Y'all really need to learn your terrain. This is clearly in the base right now, everybody.
Oh,
And you know,
no.
it was a
Clearly.
little misleading.
I thought
was
it was
a little-
blurrily.
This was the picture of the replay. Because I've gotten too many complaints that the 1-bits are too easy. This was
That-
Darshan split pushing while everyone else from Cloud9 was still cleaning up kills on TSM in the jungle.
Baron minions.
All right,
That's
all
what
right.
that color is.
Respect you, Kangas. Respect this time. This is the first time where I didn't even know what was happening in the picture.
I just have to get it really grainy for the 1-bits. I think that's the only way to do it.
That's it, that's
so
it.
that means no points for Joshi or Jolly on that one. It's still just 1 to Joshi. Jolly, you're up next. What do you want to go for? Another 16-bit? There's 2 8-bits still, and there's 1 1-bit left.
Let's try an 8-bit.
8-bit. All right, I like it. We're going to attempt
That's
to go
just
for one of
right.
the kind of casual ones. On the screen, right here, what is the context of this image that you're about to see?
Okay, this is, well, hey, I mean, it's level 10. I can tell you that much. And that is, I mean, I can tell you.
I can tell you what it isn't.
I can tell you what it isn't. I can tell you there's okay, Renata Glass. It looks like
Okay,
that's copy.
okay.
It looks like copy going in. I'm gonna say this is in the bottom lane, and it is a Kali onto Viper.
It's close. I want to give it to you out of principle, but I got to give that an survey says that's not correct.
Well, now
Very
you're
close.
gonna tell him it's close and then give it over
This
to Joshi.
is the
so,
4v4. This is the 4v4 where Copy dies and then immediately after gets the reset off of the Renata, and then he ends up about 2/3 HP just because he
Ding,
gets
ding,
a
ding.
bunch of resets. The 4-for-0 fight.
Ding, ding, ding. Absolutely. That was this moment here. I think this is maybe the first time I've actually seen the Renata Glass W passive save somebody's life, because Copy was able to pick up that kill in the 3-second window. So. Yeah,
Yep.
Congratulations, Joshi. Got 2 points right there. This was a cool moment because the Renata Glass is not something we see that often. And when we do it, it doesn't perform that well. I'm just going to be honest in terms of the Academy scene. So it's cool to see the Renata Glass pop off. We got time for one more, though. Joshi, you're up in
Okay.
points. So I'm going to give it to you. But go easy, okay? Go easy because you're the experienced member on this. Do you want to go for the
He's
16-bit,
going
8-bit, or 1-bit?
Give me the 1-bit. This
Okay.
is Jolly. This is your chance.
Oh,
If
yeah.
if I get it wrong, you can take it all
Good
back
luck.
and tie us up.
Good
all
luck,
right?
Joshi.
Alright.
Absolutely good luck on this one. What's going on here?
What is this? What?
Good luck, Joshi.
What is happening in this image?
Okay, I'm gonna guess that this is when Cloud9 are doing the Baron, and Hyper comes over and tries to steal.
Not correct.
Darn.
Jolly, do you have a guess? Do you have any guess?
I mean, this looks like a gray screen to me. I'm not gonna.
In a
I'm
way.
gonna say this is. I'm gonna just throw something out there. I'm gonna say this is Viper getting jumped on early on the top side by Darshan.
Nope. Neither of those were correct. This was, in fact, the Renata Glass score line at the end of that game. 0-0-11. You can see it at the very bottom of the screen. So it counts. It counts as a screenshot of that game.
Respect.
All right, all right.
This is what happens, Joshi.
Can I see the
when you
small version
complain
again?
That it's too easy. You want to see the small version again?
I see the zoomed in version
Yeah,
one
You
more
want to see the
time.
zoomed in
What's that
version one
scoreline?
more time? There you go. The little red bar at the bottom is my my snipping tool trying to grab the screen capture.
I
So
see
I
that.
had an extra difficult challenge for you there as well.
Backslash.
That was just
Okay.
extra flavor on top. But with that said, I'm hearing that the players are now ready for pick and ban. So no more talking about the game. Let's see the action as I pass it back to Jolly and Joshi for game number 2.
Thank you very much. We are hoping to see game number 3 here today. At least I am. I don't know about you, Joshi.
I'm feeling pretty good, right? We've kind of been speed running so far in the rest of the day, and I gotta give it some props, man. Those were some tough one hits. They've never been that tough before. So
Yeah, of course.
props
My first
there.
time. That's classic. But we'll see. It was TSM Academy that ended up picking blue side, of course, as we touched on. So that means they're going to have the first pick, but they are still going to stick with trying to ban out Malice to start things out.
Yeah, and very standard stuff here. It's going to be the Hecarim going over to TSM this time instead of Malice. And I wonder if we're going to get some themes like we saw in our first years of the day, where a lot of the blue side champs just get spread out between the two teams this time around. And typically, most people would expect that Malice would pick up the Udyr here as kind of the other jungler he likes to go for. If that's not on the cards, it's probably going to be a Shyvana after that. But otherwise, very standard stuff coming out from both teams.
And then on the other side, we are going to... Yeah! We got
Woo,
the
dragon!
baby! Shyvana is getting locked in. Not a lot of hesitation right there. The Jinx is standard, but we love to see these aggressive picks. C9 know they can do it.
I really like this coming through, and Viper also going to be grabbing the Gnar right away, right? This is something that Darshan does a lot, and I'm like, do you really want to just be blinding the Gnar? And Darshan wins with it anyway, so this is a lot of opportunities for both teams to go back and forth. There's Tom Kench going to be going over to Isles to provide King a ton of safety, and this is TSM coming to fight, right? This is them coming up with a lot of champions that are very strong in the meta, but also have a ton of tools across the board. They don't want to have the same game plan as the first time. They want to allow Hyper to find these early ganks and snowball them out of control.
You know, I like the picks. I do like what we've got here. We got to see Hyper get that ball rolling earlier than we saw in game number 1, though. Of course, when you've got the Hecarim, you have a little bit more safety. You have a little bit more of an escapability as well. So I'd love to see something similar that we saw from Malice in that game number 1 coming out of TSM Academy to kick things off. And once again, focus on the objectives has been such a big part in today's games. Both of these series, whoever is in control of the objectives has managed to take the game pretty definitively. So as we get into the second ban phase, we can see that Ari has been taken away. We don't want to give that one back to Copy, but he has a lot of champions in his pocket, Joshi.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, right? And I kind of going back to your point, you know, when you get objectives and winning, they tend to go hand in hand, right? They just kind of compound on each other. You got to get that compound interest as we go through the rest of this game. But as we kind of look towards the rest of the map, it feels like Cloud9 have picked up something that is very standard for them, right? King tends to play, again, because he's not necessarily playing with the team quite as much, plays some very standard things and tries to slot himself in. And if you give him a lot of these standard champions, he still looks really good. You don't necessarily need to have these really tough games. And holy crap, I'm getting word from production that Twitch chat is apparently way better than we are at remembering everything, because
Twitch chat's better than us at everything, according to them.
True. Twitch chat, why don't you just take over this game and, you know, we'll just get out of here. We don't have anything left to do.
Hey, this is too exciting. I'm not going to give that up. All right, I'll cancel Twitch chat. We'll see how it works out. TSM Academy, there's a lot on the line, right? They don't want to drop down with the amateur teams that have fallen to the lower bracket here in Proving Grounds. Of course, C9 Academy is looking to close it out in a sweep, so they're setting themselves up for something pretty. And yeah, you know, I normally I don't trust Twitch chat. I'm kind of surprised that they were able to pick that one up, especially considering I was looking for a play. I don't know about you, and that takes so perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the one hint that we kind of had was it tends to be towards the end of the game. You know, King's is a little bit predictable in that way.
Oh, okay.
But hey, I respect the idea anyway. And Yeah, I mean, you know, Kangas is what Kangas does. And the one other thing I kind of want to look at in the rest of this game is the very, very aggressive solo lanes that are coming out from Cloud9. Darshan sees Viper's Gnar and says, hey, what if I play Irelia into that? One of the toughest matchups for Gnar in the laning phase to get through. And also Copy, feeling very confident going with the Sylas to just run in. And typically Sylas have a lot of trouble up against melee champions, but Corki does peanuts for damage early on in the game. And Copy, with his level 3 wake up, getting all of his abilities, is going to really put Kaidwell on the back foot. So despite the fact that we said Hyper going to look to snowball this game for TSM, it's going to be really tough to do it up against Cloud9 solo lanes.
All right, the last thing that you want to jump on top of you, aside from a Shyvana, is an onslaught of shadows with a Sylas. Imagine that wave of destruction that now C9 is going to be capable of, given that this Sylas is going to be able to pick up these ultimates. They are very confident with these as well. The Tom Kench, I love that lock-in. It's a bit of a flex pick, right? But it is going to keep King alive. And Darshan, the heavier the carry, or the harder the capability of the carry, the better he's going to do. So the Irelia pickup should definitely be something that Viper has to watch out for.
Yeah, and the one player that I'm going to have to watch again for most of this is one of the rookies here for Instinct, right? Instinct last game had a pretty okay game, but the map crumbled around him. This time he's on the Zeri. He's got a lot of tools to try and kite out from all the members of Cloud9, and as long as he's able to withstand the initial brunt of the Cloud9 engage, he should be able to kite out the rest of it. Now, that's a pretty big if. Right, there's a Shyvana, an Irelia, and a Sylas who are going to be jumping on top of you. But if he can survive that, he has an opportunity to try and take over this game.
Gosh, we'll see if I keep every time you say one of these things. There's the possibility. I'm like,
It might happen.
We gotta see if it comes to that. I mean, C9 has already really proven themselves today. They want to just topple through this. They want to make it a short day for us, as much as we would love to see a game number 3 between these two teams, or really in any series at all today. But we are going to head into number 2 again. We've got TSM Academy on the blue side, fighting to stay alive in the upper bracket. We get the corgi butt. And C9 Academy on the red, looking to sweep.
Yeah, and again, it has been a lot of speed running here so far in the Proving Grounds powered by Verizon. We are continuing to see Academy teams taking the amateur teams to task, and even in some of our Academy on Academy, right, Evil Geniuses fell rather quickly earlier this week. But this is a situation where Cloud9 throughout the regular season was really dominant, right? They looked really, really good. They had a period of being the best team in all of Academy. They were just beating everybody on account of they were outscaling them. But this is definitely a version of them where they are trying to show that they can play more than just one style, that they aren't locked into just scaling up into the game, taking every dragon. They want to take this mid game and just snowball it through before Corki comes online.
And this is a kind of situation, too, where you can tell Cloud9 is so comfortable. They're so confident. They're like, let's try something wacky. Let's, prove that we can do things. But the only reason that you're actually capable of really locking in those decisions is because you have the confidence to back it up. And against this TSM team, based on game number 1, C9 says, yeah, let's open the floodgates. Let's bring out whatever we want. And I'm so excited to see how this Shyvana plays out.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Shyvana a little bit. 1, it farms incredibly fast. 2, it doesn't really have a passive unless you pick up these dragons. There's a little bit of extra damage to dragons, but more importantly, it gets extra resistances every time you pick one up. So Cloud9 really went to focus on that, and Darshan, I mean, I said this matchup is really tough for Gnar early on, but Viper actually trading back much more effectively than you might expect.
That's a good thing for him, because we did say Darshan with these carries, that's a struggle. Of course, as the game continues on, Viper's going to have to be reliant on watching that Gnar bar and see how ferocious he can actually get. Darshan, of course, super aggressive on these plays. Viper has to just back off, burn all the pots in his pocket.
And it doesn't really get better. Copy taking a good chunk as well on the backswing. But we do have to note that both of the junglers are going to be on opposite sides of the map, right? And so one of the things that people have said about Cloud9 is you tend to know where Malice is. If you know where he starts, you know where he's going to be, because he's just going to full clear his entire side of the jungle before he looks for things. And that means that around 310 to 320, you can start expecting him, but that means he's not going to be here for a potential counter gank.
There is, of course, that ward that has been placed here defensively by Darshan. He might make the move down, and this might be the time for Hyper to make his move. He didn't burn Ghost on this play and acknowledges that there is vision there. So no jump on Darshan. No time wasted, though, out of Hyper.
Yeah, not going to be too bad. He will be able to go back and clean up his own side of the map because they are opposite side starts. They're going to be mirroring each other a little bit. So Malice knows there's nothing to really take. It just slows down Hyper's second clear a little bit. But that might be a big opportunity for them to play. I am again impressed with how little Viper has given up in these first couple of waves, because this is the toughest part of the game for the Gnar versus Irelia, and Darshan is going to have to look for opportunities to try and bully it through in the next couple of minutes.
Well, this is where it gets a bit tougher. We can see the longsword has been picked up, 3 pots as well, so Darshan is definitely planning on going in pretty hard here. We can see a few of these pings coming out as well. A little bit of a chase onto Hyper in the mid while we are getting some back and forths down here on the bottom side. Hyper is capable of getting out and manages to pick up that scuttle crab without too much harassment.
Yeah, Darshan coming back. He actually started with the Longsword 3 potion, so he backsword the Doran's Blade, which is an incredibly aggressive style of build. And now, oh, Viper, they have a good idea of where he is. Malice is right around the corner.
Gotta stop the recall there, but that's all that's gonna come of it. Viper, that was a clench, but he can release now.
Great analogy coming through here, but Isles not going to be able to find that first knockup yet. Even though they don't get the kill onto Viper, the fact that they adjust his back a little bit, he doesn't get to back when he wants to. He has to expend the teleport in order to make sure he doesn't give over too much control of this lane to Darshan, because Darshan is going for a freeze, and Malice, I mean, we'd say he normally goes for these opportunities to just go for all of his own camps. We'll see if he tries to switch that up. No, he's going directly for the Raptors, which means Darshan is going to use this all on his own.
That's okay. He's still got his teleport available. Darshan, when he went back and picked up that Torrent's ring, he's able to come through. He's going to follow the flash up out of Viper here, who's trying to walk down Kaidwa, not navigating upwards, but he does have a bit of an opportunity to get away thanks to that jump.
The boots difference coming up from Viper keeps him alive for now, but we get to see, right, Viper is in a really unlucky spot. If you didn't know this, Jolly, I play a lot of Gnar. Gnar is my most played. I hate this matchup, and I can't do a whole lot from this position when I'm frozen against. And you just sit there and you're crying. And Rafa can tell you, when I'm in this position, I'm just like, please come up. I need this wave to crash, or I don't get a play for the next 10 minutes. And we saw a big CS lead coming out from Darshan versus Viper in game 1. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw the exact same thing this time around.
We do have a ton of pings coming out. You can see your son saying, I'm on my way, I will be there eventually. I have to walk all the way up from base off of that recall, and Hyper is also in the wings. So Viper potentially setting up for something good, but Isles is here too, and that is a fatty Tom Kench already, a level 6 now for Darshan on top of it.
Okay, oh my gosh, look at this. Okay, they're listening to the cries.
There they go. It's going to be 4 versus 2. Yurson goes in with the grand entrance. There's a lot of damage coming out of Kaidwa, but he has to back off. Viper not able to find level 6 before hitting Mega Gnar.
But are they going to get punished? I mean, the big thing is, like, Darshan is still up 20 CS. Copy, waiting. What is Copy doing?
Whew. He's able to get back. There we go. We can see, there is the pinch coming through towards the mid side. The pings as well on top of it as Copy's trying to navigate his way up. It's going to force Hyper and Yurson down. In the meantime, Instinct has to flash away as the aggression from Malice comes behind the tower.
Yeah, Malice using a good opportunity to try and take away things from his opponents, and it will be a play on the bottom side. And with all the attention, I can't tell. I think the wave might still be frozen for Darshan. And if that's the case, this is the worst of all possible timelines coming out. Okay, not the worst of all possible timelines, but a pretty bad one if Viper is still getting frozen against. Yeah, the wave is still in a spot where it can be frozen by Darshan, and Viper still is not going to be able to farm. Darshan showing why we pumped him up in game 1 as one of the best top laners in Academy.
The other side of this, too, is to consider that because of that wasted time by Hyper towards the top side, Malice has gotten ahead in farm, and when you are playing someone like Hecarim, you've got really quick clears. Of course, Shyvana does too, but at this point in the game, in the early portions, you gotta hope that Hyper can find that early advantage, and he has not been able to.
Not been able to. We said that I wanted to look for opportunities for him to go for these ganks, snowball the game, but they are, he hasn't really found a hole. I tried to find that first gank onto Darshan, knowing that there was no way for Malice to really counter gank, and it didn't really come to much. We saw him go for the potential dive onto Darshan afterwards, and again, didn't really come to much. So this is another situation where Cloud9 are just kind of holding their opponents in a stranglehold, and this is Cloud9's comfort zone. They play for the late game. They play for opportunities in the mid game where they've already snowballed. They got the first dragon, which gives a ton of resistances over to Malice, and if they can continue to do that, where does the rest of TSM find their windows?
It's really tough, especially given that Instinct is so far behind on top of it. King, one of the biggest scalers and great in the side lane. Same thing with Darshan in the later parts of the games, and that means that Copy is going to get a lot of attention out of Malice here. The ping's coming out now from Viper towards the top side. They want to make a move on this objective and not give everything over to Cloud9.
So at least TSM are doing something, right? With that wave going towards the top side, Darshan again has an opportunity to try and put a freeze in. But Viper using the window to try and move around the map and at least get something done means that this freeze isn't entirely for free for Darshan. However, Malice is still going to slowly outfarm his opponents, and it's still on TSM to try and make sure that Viper doesn't get knocked out of the game, because King up 2.5 plates at this point. They're bringing down the Rift Herald as well.
Ooh, that is huge. It is Yurson that's able to go in. He's going to battle dance out, though, and not as much damage as they were anticipating getting here, as Malice maybe looking for a window, but it does look like a recall is going to come through, thanks to these bottom laners, Instinct. Yurson being so far stuck under tower.
Oh.
There's the ultimate to come out from Darshan. The ultimate in response by Viper. The Gnar there. He's got to try to do as much damage as possible before little Gnar comes back. Darshan recognizing that Boomerang is going to provide a slow. Also Copy down below, though, providing some assistance.
Okay, but yeah, on the other side of the map, oh, Malice never had the Rift Herald. It was picked up by Hyper, but Copy, no! Just leave him alone.
Oh, poor Viper. You can't do a thing. Copy instantly takes the ult, slams him into the wall, a slap to the face.
That is tragic if you are a TSM fan. If you're a Viper fan, you're sitting here and just calling like, please come back. And he did. He did last game. He had some pretty cool plays, but he's in a very similar position where we have to ask, like, can he come back from this position? He's now given up first blood. He has his flash available, but he's so far down in farm, and the rest of the map is not doing a whole lot better because Yurson was gone for so long. King and Isles have punished Instinct. They got his flash when Malice came down. They've taken 4 plates, and where Instinct was one of the big points of power for TSM in Game 1, I don't know if he's going to be able to recreate that in Game 2, and we said he was one of the people that needed to have a good game.
Yep, now it's 2.5K. 10.5 minutes, okay. It's not feeling as bad as the last game.
It's feeling pretty bad, though.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty bad because these plays are definitely going in favor of C9, but it is still only the 1 kill that has been picked up. Of course, they're going to get the first jump onto this Dragon number 2. Hyper still, hey, he was able to pick up the Rift Herald. That's the only objective so far, though, that C9 is going to allow to slip through their fingers. Yeah,
and Cloud9, I mean, they stack Dragons. They're absolutely one of the best Soul teams in Academy, and again, Shyvana is really good when you get these Dragons. You get extra resistances and makes you extra tanky, and it allows you to more actively play this on-hit bruiser style of Shyvana. And King now picking up the bottom lane turret. That's all 5 plates getting picked up. King already on the Kraken Slayer, only 11 minutes into the game.
That's rough. That's rude. It's rough. It's rude. It's 30 creep up over the opposition. Instinct has really been struggling. Yurson's been trying, especially even we just saw him just sitting in the mid lane trying to maybe make a move on to Kaidoa, but it's going to be the unstoppable or onslaught of shadows to come out towards the backside. Darshan has to run away. The ultimate coming out of King, just barely missing Viper, who's able to flash to safety potentially. Isles' tongue lash hitting Hyper. A nice little save there on the Gnar.
Yeah. I mean, we are seeing, once again, that TSM are doing a good job at punishing when Darshan is a bit overconfident. He didn't use the ultimate and just gave a free ultimate over to Viper. That's the second time he's choosing to fight while Viper is in Mega, which is a little bit surprising to me. But the rest of the map is still in such a good position for Cloud9 that even though they lose Darshan, they're going to be the ones hitting the turrets after. They're the ones who are going to allow Copy to pick up a couple of plates in the other side of the play. And, well, Instinct will get a little bit. He has to be really careful that he doesn't die to Darshan.
And that is the package as well. Kaidoa ends up burning it. Ran out of time on that one. We've got to move up by King and Isles. They are okay with allowing these plates to go over to Instinct because they've already got the full tower towards the bottom side. And that is the top turret as well that was just picked up by Copy, who is everywhere at once. Shelly finally comes out here. Now TSM has to be on the run.
Okay, Darshan looking for a potential ult, not quite going to find it. So there is going to be a couple plates going over to the members of TSM, so they will get a little bit of gold back in, but the real place that they're going to have to look to fight is in about 3 minutes, and then 5 minutes after that when the last dragon spawns, because they need to put a stop to the clock. Right, they need to slow down Cloud9's inexorable advantage. Otherwise, they're just going to be like Thanos and just a bit of an inevitability. Because an entire turret went down top lane while the plates were still up. The entire bottom lane turret went down, and now Copy, he can use Nar's ult even better.
There it is, into the wall, the lockdown, so much damage. Copy picking up another, and Viper couldn't even stay alive for more than a second. That's going to be the ultimate as well, coming out of Darshan onto Hyper. He's going to be able to escape. He doesn't have his ghost, but still, it's just continuous pressure from C9.
Just the full court press. There's your sports reference for the day, Cubby. But it's still an opportunity right now for Cloud9 to just build up such a large advantage. And I kind of look at TSM and say, okay, well, it's not going to be Nar who's going to be carrying this game. It's probably not going to be Hyper who's carrying this game, considering he's only got the 1 kill and he's behind. Who is it going to be? And it's been instinct. We set him up, but he's a little bit behind as well. So now I feel like we're in Kaidua, right? The guy that you were kind of setting up as somebody who has had a fantastic second half to the Academy split, who needs to step up as somebody who has had a bit more experience before he came to NA to really show why he was this big import that was super hyped for LCS.
It's definitely tough for him to do, especially given the fact that Copy has been able to navigate around the map and pick up kills in other lanes. So even though he hasn't fallen, even though he has been doing well and is currently ahead on CS, it's still a struggle in his lane opponent. And it is still kind of Cloud9 that is really dictating where these fights are taking place, and TSM is playing a lot more reactively, whereas Cloud9 has the proactive decisions.
Yeah. And, I don't want to say this game's over, but I do want to say that it is very heavily in favor of Cloud9 at this point. So looking at the rest of, Proving Grounds, we do have to note that the winner of this will go on to play Dignitas. And,
there it is,
whoa,
the teleports.
what, out of nowhere, a huge fight.
Teleports coming through. Viper relatively close to being able to hit that Mega Gnar status, but Copy and Darshan, they're just too big. They're too scary. Copy is enough to send multiple members scurrying away.
And at the same time, Malice is going to be able to pick up the rip on the other side. So, they're looking for an opportunity? Okay, just kidding. You're going to be backing out. But yeah, winner of this goes on to play up against Dignitas Academy, who were able to take down Immortals AoE in the first round of Proving Grounds. Now, at the same time, the loser will go on to play, I believe it's Winthrop after this.
Yeah, going on to play Winthrop in the lower bracket, so we'll have to see how Winthrop plays out. They are definitely a team that is, pretty resilient in the amateur scene, but they have been taken down by some of the best of the best. That 100 Thieves being really the top tier team for amateur, getting taken down earlier in the day. Now it's Kaidua trying to save his tower, but the second Rift Herald is going to pop out, and it should be another one to go down. That's the third tower now, if they're able to fully get this one for Cloud9.
Yeah. Also, thank you to King for correcting me. It's going to be 100 Thieves next who play up against Winthrop, and it is, in fact, going to be the loser of the series will play up against Immortals AoE. So it's going to be a lot of opportunities. We will most likely get to see TSM play up against another amateur squad if this game remains on the pace that is currently going. And I feel like that's going to be, again, another litmus test. We saw Maryville take a game off of TSM. Will other teams be able to do the same thing up against the Academy teams? Because I feel like, again, our last and best hope for 100 Thieves next was dashed against the Rocks.
Yep.
Now, can any other team, play against the Tides?
I do like the fact that when it comes to a lower bracket, sure, your back's against the wall, because at that point, you already gone through the double elimination, it's single elim, but hopefully it kind of lights the fires under some of these players' butts to say, let's try something crazy, let's try something new. We can see the opportunity has made itself available for Cloud9 in this matchup against TSM Academy because they're confident. You can kind of take it the other way around too if you really want to.
Yeah. So I was waiting to see if a fight was going to break out. Malice wants it.
It might. The zap is going to come through, but thanks to the fact that Yurasan has that dance, it's going to be able to get back to the team. Oof.
Okay.
Still, it's just, it's Cloud9. This is the problem. It's bullying positioning out of TSM every single time they try to move forward.
Yeah, and one thing that is kind of reassuring to me as I watch this is Darshan just is really rude to Viper again.
Oh, right there again. It's the flash away, though. Can he stay alive? He's not going to make it, but it ends up being a trade between those two players.
Honestly, not bad for Viper, right? When you pick up the 1-for-1 when you're this far behind, you're like, okay, I'll take it, thank you. But this is definitely, remember, this is one of the top seeds playing against one of the lower seeds, and this is generally how we should be expecting early rounds to be going, right? I promise for people who are watching, Proving Grounds, the Powered by Verizon part definitely is going to be really picking up later on when the top teams start playing up against each other. And for now, we get to see Cloud9 showcase why they were so feared. Uh-oh, Instinct just jumps over the wall and he's fine. It's K.
In that third seed spot, it feels good if you're top 5, top 6, let alone top 3 there. Copy is going to make a jump onto Yurson. He's able to use the quickness to try to get out of this one and has Kaidwa, also has the Hyper in the back end. It should be able to do enough damage, but it's 2 levels up that Copy has. Can Hyper make the play forward? Isles gets the munch though. Great abyssal dive to ensure Copy doesn't go down.
Oh, and Isles even picks up the red buff, adding insult to injury there. So much play coming through from TSM.
Ooh, Super Mega Death Rocket just barely gonna miss. Hyper has to go up to avoid that one. Malice is in dragon form. The teleport coming through from Copy. Malice recognizing, all right, I might not be able to get the 1 or get the 2, but I can pick up Hyper.
TSM, they're trying so hard to try and find something. I respect that a lot, right? Even when the cards are down, you still got to try and find something with your backs up against the wall. Unfortunately, they're just so far behind. Cloud9 are just that little bit more coordinated, and it is paying off over and over. 3 dragons to their name, a 6,000 gold lead. Cloud9 are poised to clean this up in a 2-0 fashion.
The last game ended after just 26.5 minutes here, Joshi. It was a rough one for TSM. Let's take another look at that fight, though.
I mean, the biggest thing here is like Copy just able to play kind of, you know, seeing shades of what we saw from Jimian last time, right? When he was just able to 1v3 all on his own. Copy, not quite strong enough to recreate that, but strong enough to keep himself alive and keep enough distance between him and the rest of the players.
Oh, so close on that ultimate as well to hit onto Hyper, but it didn't really matter. The pickup still came through here for Malice, and Dragon Form at least gave him 1 kill. As we head back into the game, there were a couple spicy, I'm sure you heard me gasp 1 or 2 times. There were a couple spicy attempts here by Cloud9. TSM still able to stay alive, though.
Yep. This is kind of it. TSM, this is kind of their last opportunity to try and turn this game around. With the next dragon going down, if they pick it up, Malice will get so much resistances. He will be so ridiculously tanky on this Shyvana that I don't really think there's an opportunity to kill him, even though at this point he hasn't even really built any HP items. He might back for an entire bomb. Okay, he's got the bomb. He doesn't quite have the mythic completed just quite yet, but as I start looking towards this upcoming dragon, Cloud9 are in control of the area first.
That's kind of been this entire game, this entire series really of Cloud9, again, really just kind of dictating the positioning out of TSM. And, you know, I'll bring up that proactive, reactive play. It has been nice little attempts here by TSM to make some proactive plays, but every single time Cloud9 just pops their heads around and, oh no, it's Malice, oh no, it's Copy. TSM's like, we got to get out of here. And you can see just how scared they are. If you take a look at the items, Kaidwa has actually picked up a Hex Drinker to try to avoid the damage that's coming out of these players like Malice and especially Copy.
We'll see how effective it actually is, as Cloud9 is going to be starting up this dragon's Instinct almost dies to King alone. How's about some payback?
And now it's just Cloud9 saying, yeah, we can pull this dragon out a little bit. We'll force the fight to the front of this dragon pit. TSM has to navigate forward, and Copy is able to sit here. We can see Yurson on the backside. It is a nice little steal there by Hyper, who has to use his ultimate, but he's going to go down in the process. Yurson on the backside, and the backside being the enemy jungle is a scary place to be, especially when you're level 7 into Copy, who's 13. The Onslaught of Shadows stolen from Hyper is what picks him up the kill.
2 members dead. Cloud9 probably going to be looking for an opportunity to continue fighting or maybe even go for this Baron at only 22 minutes in. TSM with no jungler, how do they even try and contest this? They don't have a way in. They don't have their quickness. They don't have their Onslaught of Shadows, and they're just going to be giving up a lot of ground. And Darshawn, his teleport is going to be coming up very soon. You might even be able to come for a flank.
You've got the pings coming out right here from TSM saying, oh, the bottom lane is getting pushed in hard, but we don't want to allow this Baron to go over without a fight. Kaidwa trying to maybe look to set up the big one for a pickup on that, but it will be these Dragon Slayers that have been able to grab it. A nice little charm there on to Copy. Yurson flashing away after using the quickness. Malice is able to solo out Instinct on this fight, though, and so much damage coming out of King. Get excited on this one. They'll be able to pick up another kill here, and a clean ace in favor of Cloud9 should spell the end of the game, and it's not even 23 minutes, Joshi.
Oh my, they're trying to speed run even faster. New PB for Cloud9. They're trying to find out, trying to run down in your son. Only level 7. Literally half Darshan's level. 23 minutes into the game. This should be a clean end here coming up for Cloud9.
Darshan's just like, go ahead, hit me. What are you going to do? Absolutely nothing. I can just auto this tower down, wait for the rest of my team to get in here with these Baron-empowered minions. In fact, the teleport even comes out so Copy can gain health, uses the quickness on top of it to pick up another kill, and once more, we're just watching Cloud9 pad their stats before ending the game at 23 and a half minutes.
Speedrunning through the early parts of proving rounds. There's not a whole lot left to say. We just saw Cloud9 looking like the better team today. They were absolutely in control from start to finish. There were a couple small slip-ups when they were feeling a little bit too confident, but other than that, you can't really fault them for anything. They were always in the right spots to pick everything up. They were always ready to cover each other, and when you have a result like that, a 26-minute game and a 23-minute game, what more can you ask for?
Oh man, yeah, sweep for that series. TSM really, towards the beginning of the games, it felt like they were still kind of in it. There was a pretty big goal deficit within the first 10 minutes for both of those games, but there were still some solid plays and good pickouts that TSM Academy was able to find for themselves. The struggle, though, came with the speed that Cloud9 Academy was playing at, and it was 110% from minute number 1, both game 1 and game number 2, and that means that the day is going to end with 2 sweeps for our series. Of course, looking forward, we've got more days of proving grounds. Back-to-back coming up ahead of us. But we are going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're likely going to have an interview with Kangas and one of the players on the winning team. So let us know maybe who you'd like to see on here, if there are any questions you would like to ask them. In the meantime, though, sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for our post-series interview with Cloud9 Academy victorious jungler, Malice. Brought to you, of course, by Verizon. Malice, congratulations on the 2-0 swift work of TSM Academy. First thoughts at the end of the series and your debut in Proving Grounds.
It's just 2 chill games. We just did what we practiced, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, doing what you practice. First, a stage win on Shyvana if Oracle's Elixir stats is correct. So congratulations on that as well. It's fun to see the Dragon come out. Is this a legit meta threat right now, or is this just a signature Malice pick?
No, I think she ramps up pretty fast. I think she's a really strong duelist early, and after Borg, you murder every jungler 1v1, and she scales really well, and she ramps up Dragon pretty fast. And I think she's also a really good pick into Hecarim. So we're always down to the Hecarim open and pick that.
I like it. Now, on the note of dragons, I gotta ask, from one gamer to another, who's cooler, Charizard or Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Ooh, it has to be Blue Eyes.
Let's go. That's the correct choice. Thank you so much, Malice.
I've been hearing
from
Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day, and
big fan. Are you a dual monsters guy, or did you like the GX and 5Ds era too?
I'm not even gonna pretend to know what that means. I just
fair enough. I just outed myself. I didn't need to do that, but we'll move on forward with the next question here. I've been hearing some talk from some other Academy players, some rumblings that there's an opinion going around the Cloud9 Academy's playstyle has been solved and that you're no longer really considered a top 2-tier threat in terms of the power rankings of Academy teams. I'm just curious, your thoughts on this rhetoric that I've been hearing.
I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. We'll run them over. No worries.
All right. So you're not worried at all that, maybe 5 jungle bans against you is going to be too much for you to handle?
Nah. They need 10 at this point.
It's starting to feel like that. Now, I'm curious because you've gotten a chance to play through an entire split now in North America against all the Academy players, and now an opportunity in Proving Grounds to go up against further Academy teams and maybe some amateur teams if you get match up against any going forward. Is there anybody in particular that you're excited for a rematch against? Anybody that you played already in the split that you're like, all right, that's the one that I want to check off my list one more time?
Not really. I even have a hard time knowing what players is on which team. I kind of confuse them all up together. So not really. I think the only opponent we have is ourselves, really. I think the only games our game that we lose is games we give to the enemy team by misplay. But if we solve that, there should be no problem.
But on that note, I do need to ask, because you said you don't know everybody on every team. Can you name a jungler on a team? I'm putting you on the spot right now, Malice.
Tomio, Rosethorn. I think those are the two Is our mayor a jungler?
But what team are they on? You haven't answered that part yet.
I know Rosethorn is on CLG. Other than that,
there you
I
go.
do not know.
All right, shoutouts to Rosethorn on CLG Academy. Now, Malice, podium's yours. I want to give you the opportunity to make any statement, any thoughts you have, any words or message for anybody out there listening.
I don't have much to say. Shout out to my wife and my boys, Crucel and Ariba. That's about it. Don't have much
Wife buff unlocked. Thank you so much, Malice. Really appreciate you coming on for this post-match interview, and best of luck going forward and prepping against all these well-known junglers on these respected teams. Thank you so much for taking the interview.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. All right, and with that said, we'll welcome back the casters on to break down the day. Jolly Joshi, welcome back. He named one. He named one player on one team. He named a second player, but didn't quite get the team. So Joshi, hey, Malice is starting to recognize some of our junglers.
That's true. It's a big point of progress. I've been really excited to see this entire progression, though, from Cloud9 as a team. They're still looking really strong, and I love the confidence. Malice always has so much confidence going into all these interviews. It's like, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to run them over.
He's got the swagger to him. Jolly, that was your first opportunity, I believe, to cast a Cloud9 Academy game and see Malice in action from the caster perspective. Thoughts on Cloud9 Academy? Do you think they're deserving of the second seed?
Oh, it's feeling right. Absolutely. Especially given, improvement for teams. It's looking like this is a team that's just going to continue to excel, given the fact that compared to time that's spent together for a lot of the other teams. They're slightly newer in that. They have to kind of figure out the communication and cohesion. And I love to see the sneaky picks. I think you were mentioning something about, I mean, Malice just taking out some crazy things in the past. In the jungle, we saw the Shyvana pop off, and I expect to see some more cool, spicy picks coming out of this team to see what they can get away with.
Exactly. But with that said, that is the end of round 2 for Proving Grounds for Cloud9's perspective here. We finished off all the amateur teams. They've been knocked down to the lower bracket. So let's take a look at the recap here so we can catch everybody up on what's happened across all of Proving Grounds. We have the updated bracket. All of round 2 has been played out. We're moving in to round 3 now in the upper bracket. And then actually we get to start the lower bracket run as well. And going into the day, there was a lot of hopes and expectation in 100 Thieves next. Rough to see them drop 2-0, but hey, everybody has 2 lives from this point, Joshi. There is still a run for a lot of these teams. And we had some great lower bracket run narratives from last summer. If you remember, teams like Golden Guardians Academy getting knocked down in round 1, making it all the way to the lower bracket finals.
Yeah, we definitely had some, king killers coming through last time around where they were able to knock down teams like Golden Guardians early on, and we saw these big runs. So if there's a team that's going to do it, I'm kind of expecting 100 Thieves next to have an opportunity to make a similar kind of lower bracket run. But again, with your back against the wall every single time, every single series from this point on is do or die.
Every series, do or die. If you find yourself on the lower bracket, the teams that got wins in their round 2, though, feeling pretty good. With the upper bracket opportunities. Let's take a look going forward to see who we will have next on the stream and who we can follow next in terms of who's getting eliminated, because we do have, I believe, next up we have all round 3 upper brackets. So Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves and CLG versus Immortals. So no one's getting knocked out this early in the tournament here, Jelly.
No, not quite yet, but it is a day full of Academy, as we were talking about in that upper bracket. That's all we are seeing right now. And, there is a good opportunity, I think, for TSM Academy in that lower bracket, but they're going to have to get through, like we were talking about, 100 Thieves. I have a good feeling about that next team, that amateur team. They can fight through. You talked about Golden Guardians Academy, but I want to see an amateur team run it through in the lower bracket this time. It's just, it already looks like it's going to be an uphill climb.
And Josh, we'll get another look at CLG Academy going forward starting tomorrow. That's really exciting stuff because this is the #1 seed coming in, and they are looking dominant as well.
They've definitely earned it too. They've had some really strong early game plans, and one of the things that all the teams talk about is the ability to continuously make plans and have an idea of what you're doing at every point along the way. CLG has by far been the best team at that so far in this spring season, and if they can continue doing that, they're definitely one of our favorites to actually win the whole thing.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see their journey going forward, but that will do it for round 2 of Proving Grounds and the broadcast for the day. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for all the action ahead in round 3 of the upper brackets. And a special thank you to my 2 lovely casters, Jolly and Joshi. Thank you for coming on and giving us all the energy for the day. Everybody behind the scenes and production for keeping the gears rolling. Everybody in Twitch chat cheering on your favorite players and teams. And of course, all the players for putting on that performance. We would not have this show, all of this stream, if it were not for all these players striving to be the best in North America and make that push for LCS. We'll be back. More action. Same place, same time, starting tomorrow. We'll see you there. Whoosh.